All right, what is your favorite aspect of your line of work?
So my favorite aspect of my line of work is definitely seeing the change in people after, like before and after a session. A lot of times I can read their energy when I first see them, and then after I do the healing work, I see a difference kind of immediately. And then with that, also seeing the difference over time. So the clients that come to me multiple times, I really see a difference in their overall life, and I can see them like standing in their power more, feeling more confident, things flowing more smoothly in their life, and just really the overall benefit of coming to me and having the consistent energy healing in their life as part of their life. So yeah, and then I also love like teaching and educating my clients kind of during the session, and talking to them about just reminding them of where we came from, and that we're not just these physical bodies, but that, you know, reminding them about the spirituality and where our spirits came from before this, and reminding them that we are all light workers and star seeds, and we're here to, you know, shine our light on humanity and planet Earth and uplift the planet. And it's just fun to be able to speak my mind and my truth and share that with my clients, who are usually pretty open-minded to all that spirituality talk, whereas, you know, with a lot of more normal everyday type people,
it gets esoteric at times.
Yeah, I can't just like go off and speak my truth about it. I have to kind of filter what I say. So, but when someone's coming to me for energy work, I know they're already pretty open to, you know, what I'm offering and everything that I have to say. So it's nice to just be able to speak freely and kind of educate them in that way also.
That's awesome. Wow.
Do you have any questions or comments about that first question?
I mean, like what kind of like prompts you to have to put on a filter when it comes to talking to somebody about spirituality, like not being able to share your complete truth?
Yeah, well, that kind of leads us down a different discussion path of like the dimensions and the consciousness levels and stuff, and just the energy and the frequency and the vibration. So I've learned that, you know, we're all vibrating at different levels. Like the actual cells of our body are vibrating at, you know, faster or slower, and that kind of correlates with your consciousness level. And so people like you and I, we're vibrating at a faster frequency and rate, and our consciousness is higher, and we're, you know, more open to these spiritual realms and all these ideas. And whereas I say like kind of like 3D people, I don't know, does that
I watch this YouTuber sometimes. His name is Spiritual So, and I kind of stopped watching a little bit. I felt like I was kind of like believing too much of what he said and not really asking myself and letting my own intuition guide myself, like, oh, is what he's saying, is it actually true or not? But he calls people who are way too focused on this world and kind of just stuck bots. That's what he calls them. Like these people just walking around, they're completely like gone, they're deluded, and they don't really know what's going on at all.
Yeah, and I think there are some people that maybe are kind of like that, but I'm more focused on I would call them, some of them are, I would say, earth seeds, because I've used the term star seeds. And like for people like you and I, like I believe that our spirit spent time in different star systems before we came to earth to do our mission work and shine our light on humanity and stuff. But I also believe that some people just haven't spent time in the stars, and they've just more been on earth for their entire like lifetimes and incarnations,
like
and
a constant cycle of like reincarnation where they just keep coming down here.
Yeah, like on earth. So I kind of look at it like that, and And then I think those people, I don't want to lump everybody, in different categories, but the ones that I'm speaking of that are more lower consciousness, you could say asleep. I think that's a good word. They're more asleep and they haven't woken up to all these spiritual ideas and information and, remembering where we all came from. Whereas I see, people like you and I are waking up, we're waking up to the reality of the different levels of consciousness and dimensions and remembering our gifts and where we came from. And does that make sense?
Yeah, it's definitely like, it's hard to sometimes realize that or stay stuck to it, because like with me, since I'm still at the beginning of my journey, I'm just like, there'll be times where like a couple days out of a week sometimes where I'll just feel depressed for no reason, or it's hard for me to get up early in the morning and start my day, or like stay committed to my ambitions with YouTube or with other things like school and things like that. Sometimes it's hard to like balance everything, and then I kind of lose sight of things, and I stop meditating for a couple days in a row, and it goes like in this cycle. But I mean, I'm trying to learn how to balance, and I guess that's like the ultimate goal.
Yeah, and I think that's totally normal. Like I have that too. And also we have to remember there's so much energy coming in from the universe and the cosmos right now that we can't see, and we don't know that it's affecting us, but it is. So, as like for example, the full moon on Tuesday night, I was such a complete mess on Tuesday. Like the full moon affected me so strongly, and I was like crying and like depressed and just not myself at all. But I knew it was the full moon, so thankfully I knew it was probably going to pass, but it's still, I just couldn't get out of it. And then thankfully by the next day it did pass and I was back to my normal self. But I think it's normal for all of us that there's ups and downs, and like someday we're going to feel good and we're like, yeah, we're doing our mission work, we're like motivated and excited, and then other days we're just like exhausted and can't do anything. Like that happens to me too. So
well, I'm going to move on to question number 2.
Okay.
What does it mean to be a holistic health practitioner?
So a holistic health practitioner to me means that I look at people as whole beings. Like I look at their physical, mental, emotional, spiritual states as, all making up who they are and how their health is and their well-being, as opposed to like the Western medical system where they pretty much focus on just the physical body, and like they really separate each system, like digestive system, endocrine, skeletal. They separate all those systems, they separate the organs. They basically treat ailments and disease with drugs or surgery, prescription drugs or surgery. And whereas me being a holistic health practitioner, I look at the person's whole system and all the different things that could affect them, like, their spiritual health, their mental health, emotional health, and then because I feel like those things affect the physical health. So
yeah, definitely.
It's really looking at the whole system and how it all affects.
It's sad because like I see, I don't necessarily see, but I hear about like nurses and doctors are kind of just brainwashed themselves to think a certain way of how the body works or how to treat certain illnesses that may manifest actually because of damaged emotional health or mental health. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of crazy that we just here in America, we kind of just treat things that we just tell them, oh, I'm sorry, we can't do anything for you after we get them surgery option or drugs, which just they just treat symptoms and not underlying causes of what's actually going on.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty depressing and upsetting, and that's why I'm like so passionate about my work. And I wish that all those people, I could help all those people. But that's what all of us in the alternative health and wellness industry are wanting to do. We want to reach those people so that we can address their health on the different levels and not just the physical level like their doctors are doing.
I love that. That's like my ultimate goal. That's what I want to try and do. Like, I'm not sure how to exactly formulate it just yet because I'm still in school. I'm kind of young still, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's along the lines of kind of what I want to practice too.
And you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just leads to question 3. What led you down this career path?
Yeah, well, I was just about to say, it's cool because you're about the age where I was when I started thinking about all this stuff. What led me first down it was I took an astrology class through my local Parks and Rec department when I was living in Santa Cruz. And I loved the astrology class and the teacher, and then that teacher went on to have a next level class, which was like esoteric studies. And in that class, we did energy healing, like group energy healing. So that was my intro to that. And then at the same time, when I was living in Santa Cruz, I went to a healing art school called Twin Lakes College, and it's actually not open anymore, but it was a great school where that was where I first did my Reiki classes, level 1 and 2. I did an essential oil practitioner class. I was learning at the same time about crystals and flower essences, and started doing intuitive dowsing with a pendulum. So I was just learning about all these different alternative health modalities and intuition and energy healing and everything. And it was at that time that I had the dream of like having my own practice where I could combine all these different modalities and treat people, with these things. And I didn't know when I was going to have that practice, but I just knew that one day I would, and I was like excited for it. So kind of like you're thinking, like you have this idea of what you want to do, but you're still in school, you're still learning and everything. So, and then also I was working at a Chinese medicine clinic in college where they taught students how to do acupuncture and Chinese herbs, and the Chinese system looks at beings in a whole, like holistic way as well. They don't, compartmentalize the body. So I was kind of learning just through working there about that too, like how to look at the system as, the body as a whole system and everything. So I kind of had it from all angles, this holistic way of looking at things. And then I ended up getting married, having a baby. We moved to the Midwest because it was like from Santa Cruz, and we moved to Arkansas, and it was like way cheaper there, and I had a new family now, needed to save money. And actually my astrology teacher and some other friends were moving out there too. We all kind of moved at the same time, and that was when I ended up working at the Western Medical Clinic. So I kind of got off my holistic health path a little bit, or I kind of forgot about it because I was just doing like married mom, family life, working, paying bills. But that job and that life didn't exactly fit me. I knew there was something more than just sitting at a computer, like checking patients in all day. And so then a few years later, ended up getting divorced, moving back to California, and kind of reigniting my love and passion of like holistic arts and medicine. And then a couple of years ago, I was again working at like a desk job in a financial aid office, just like staring at a computer in a dark office, 40 hours a week. I loved talking with the students, but I did not love just sitting in that office, doing nothing pretty much. And it was like draining the life out of me. And then I kind of remembered about, I have crystals. Like maybe I should do crystal healing on myself. And I started doing that every night, and I had met someone too, like was in a little long distance relationship with someone who was kind of encouraging me, like, you know, get back on your path, like follow your path, you can work for yourself. And so between doing the crystal healing every night and just being motivated to get back into what I really love to do, I just decided to take a leap of faith and quit my job and go full-time working for myself, doing what I love to do. And so that was June 1st, 2018. And then that summer I also took my Reiki Master course and did a life coach certification course, and I just started my practice. And so it's been a little over 2 years, and I've just been kind of building it up over time, but I've just like fully trusted in God, source, spirit to, you know, provide for me, because I'm working for myself and haven't worked for anybody else. And it's just been like 2 of the best years of my life, like totally.
That's
because
awesome.
I'm living in alignment with my higher self and God, and just so happy to do the work that I love to do, that I always wanted to do, you know, that I had that dream of like 20 years ago. And and everything is working out pretty good. So that's kind of how that's the long answer to your question of what led me down that career path.
You kind of just like, when you decided to take that leap of faith and everything, just being able to have all that time to really have that like strong work ethic towards your passion allowed you to attract like other like-minded people and like other clients that actually like, oh, this sounds interesting, I want to like pay to have this like done for me.
Yeah. And yeah, I've just met like really cool people along the way over the past 2 years. Meeting different connections here or there that would introduce me to someone else, or, you know, I started doing mini healing sessions at a local crystal shop, Aquarian Era, and there I was able to meet like so many cool people, and meeting different colleagues and other Reiki practitioners at like local like Reiki shares. I met my co-teacher Danielle. We teach Reiki classes together, and it's like God, source, whatever you call it, just kind of would put different people in front of me at different times. It was like, okay, I know we're supposed to meet, you know, we just happen to both be at this event or at the shop at the same time, or somehow we just meet at this perfect time, and then, you know, some kind of either a friendship or a work relationship will happen from that. And so it's been really fun too to just see how everything falls into place like in the perfect time.
And like being able to like meet all these people and being able to meet all these people and everything, they like and make these connections, like it helps you like be more stable and everything, like not just income wise, but also just like relationship wise, and just being able to have like outlets of people to talk to about anything going on.
Yeah, because like now over the last couple of years, it's like I've really built up this spiritual community in, you know, local, like around Pleasant Hill, Concord, you know, Walnut Creek, Martinez, just like our local area. And it's so important and wonderful to have other like-minded people that, you know, we can all, like I said before, we're all resonating at the same vibration and frequency, and we can speak freely about our spirituality and our, you know, healing practices and everything. So it's definitely great to have that spiritual community and other like-minded people, because I think it's hard when, you know, you have this inside of you, but you don't have other people that get it on that level, and so, you know, you're kind of alone in your spirituality. But of course now with, you know, social media and online everything, it's easier to connect with the spiritual community, I think, like all over the world.
Yeah, I've been connecting with this guy on YouTube from Maine, he on the completely separate side of the country, and we were just talking about we had like a podcast about perception of reality. It was pretty cool being able to talk to him. I felt like in a way just being able to work on something that I like doing, like YouTube, trying to make a difference. I'm like slowly growing. It's a process, but being able to talk to him, I felt like it was just like it felt right. It felt like because if you utilize the law of attraction through if you're actually using your passion and working on your passion, then you're going to attract people like that, even if it's just through online, if you don't actually get to meet them in person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I love law of attraction. I mean, that was part of what allowed me to start my practice, was like I was studying, law of attraction, Abraham Hicks stuff, and just learning about, I mean, I've always been like a manifester and into positive thinking and manifestation and all that, but yeah, just knowing that you're gonna attract like-minded people if you stay in that positive, good vibe and everything. And
yeah, I'm gonna move on to question 4. Let's see. How would you define and describe the chakra system?
So the chakras are like spinning wheels of energy, and they come from like Hindu tradition, and I do work with them, and I have read that there are up to 114 chakras like in your body. I think different people have different kind of beliefs and ideas about it, but as practitioners, and society generally focuses on like the main 7 ones, and so they're different. The 7 ones are kind of along the center column of your body, and they're all in a sense like spinning wheels of energy. And so when they're clear and cleansed, they can just spin freely, and your energy is good and everything, but they can easily get blocked and clogged and slowed down, and that can create problems in different systems in your body or different areas or your energy. And
that definitely makes sense. I remember this is like kind of similar to this. I actually had an experience. I don't know like how you would interpret it at all, but I had like this dream, I guess, the other week where it felt like I accidentally almost astral projected, but I wasn't able to actually do it, and then something was communicating with me in some way, telling me that my solar plexus was weak, and that's why I wasn't able to make it. And then when I woke up, I was dizzy and disoriented, like I had a hangover or something. Like I just felt dizzy and like it was almost like vertigo or something.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really strange. I don't know.
Yeah, it probably wasn't a dream. It was probably a real thing that was going on.
Yeah, because I remember something was telling me about my solar plexus. It was weak, and that's why my stomach might have felt weird too, because that's where the solar plexus is. And I mean, maybe like the energy just hasn't been great there. I haven't been confident enough doing things or positive enough, or actually like really focusing on what I want to do.
Yeah, that sounds pretty much solar plexus related for sure.
It was really a really strange experience. It was really weird.
Yeah. I'm not too experienced with astral traveling and everything. My guidance tells me not to go down that path or try it or whatever, but I have talked to a few people who like to do that or are interested or want to try, so. But I just say to people, well, just be sure to like stay grounded, if you're going to do that, because
you can run into probably some not so fun spirits.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
They try to steal your energy.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, that's how you feed them, but I'm going to move on to question 5. What does it mean to you to have all your chakras aligned?
So, and that's part of what I do in my healing sessions, is we make sure that all the chakras are aligned and clear. So what it means to me is just that all 7 of them are just cleansed and cleared and flowing, and the way that I usually do that, and my practice is with a pendulum, which is like a little crystal on the end of a string or chain, and the pendulum tells me, like, it tells me if it's blocked or not, depending on like how fast it will swing over the chakra. So I'm every session I'm going through all 7 of them and making sure that they're all cleansed and cleared, and I guess that's just what them being aligned means to me. Just making sure that they don't have blockages or sluggishness. They're all kind of clear and flowing the right direction, the way they should be. So, and that's something, it's not like you do it once and it lasts. You really have to kind of monitor your chakras, sometimes even daily, either yourself or with working with a practitioner. But you can do, meditations to cleanse and clear them. You can use crystals, and there's things that you can do on your own to clear them, or you can work with someone, to get them clear. But they can get clogged or, unclear day to day. It's kind of a continual thing.
Yeah, for me, it's like, I feel like lately, since I haven't been able to get out into nature as often, because number 1, the smoke, but number 2, it's been hot.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I was going to the mountain every day to go on a run in the spring because it was so pretty. It was nice and green and everything.
Yeah.
And now it's all gross and dried and dead.
I know.
Like, no, thank you. But I mean, I tried to connect with some of my crystals to help my chakras, but I mean, sometimes I feel like, it might just be a self-fulfilling prophecy, but sometimes I feel like they're not doing anything, or like I'm sitting there and meditating and I'm like, what am I actually doing?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I just like listening to my thoughts too much? And then that's just keeping my chakras blocked.
Yeah. Well, I think, was there another one of your questions was about crystals and chakras?
Yeah, actually it's the next one. It was, how do crystals affect the chakra centers, and do you utilize specific crystals during meditations and energy healing sessions?
Yeah, so I was gonna say, like, you're talking about working with crystals for yourself, and you feel like they might not be working. What I like to recommend is just like lying in bed and picking 7 that you're called to, kind of intuitively, for each chakra. You can match them up color-wise. If you know the colors of the chakras, like the red starts at the base and then going up kind of through the rainbow, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, up to the crown. And if you have crystals that are in that similar color range, you could just match it up like that. But even if you don't, you can just intuitively pick like whatever crystals you're drawn to. And then you can just lie there in bed and place the crystals on each chakra, and then maybe put on some like binaural beats music or some kind of music in headphones and just lie there, and the crystals will really do the work that they need to do to clear your chakras. So
just kind of just like letting them sit there on your skin, or like hold it in your hands.
I say put them on the chakras, like along the center of your body.
Oh, like while you're lying down, that's what you said.
Yeah.
That
so
makes more sense.
Yeah, and that's what I did, like I was saying before I started my practice. When I started doing my own crystal healing for a while, I would just do that every night, like lie there, place the 7 crystals on my 7 chakras, and usually I would fall asleep for a little while, just kind of doze off, which is totally fine. And then you'll know when it's time to take them off or get up, because the energy might just feel too strong, or you're just like, okay, it's time to get up. That's enough, because the crystals are pretty powerful, but they all have their healing properties. So you can really just place them on your chakra and just know and trust that they're gonna do the clearing that they need to do.
The one crystal that I connect with black tourmaline and amethyst the most. And sometimes I'll put amethyst like right on my forehead where my third eye is, because it's a good like spiritual connection crystal. And oh wow, sometimes I can like feel the energy go through my head. It's like this big buzz that goes back down through my body, and it's really strange. And sometimes I have to take it off. It's like, wow, that was crazy.
Yeah, sometimes it's just like so strong. You can really feel it. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure how to like, I don't know how I really feel after the crystal. I mean, I just know that like I can feel the energy, but I'm not sure how it really affects me after. I mean, I'm not sure how long, how do I say this? Like when you use a crystal during meditation, like how long does that effect last for? Like just a day or a couple of days, or?
It probably really varies, there's no set time, but like you could try doing a crystal healing on yourself, like maybe once a day, at night before bed or something, and not just with one crystal and one chakra, but like with all 7.
I'm definitely gonna try that next time.
Yeah, especially if you're having like solar plexus issues, you could get some kind of more orangish or yellowish stone and put it on your solar plexus along with the others and just let it do its healing work.
Yeah, those are like the two, the sacral and the solar plexus are 2 chakras I feel like I don't focus on enough. It's all the others but those ones.
Yeah.
Cause I don't even have crystals those colors either.
Yeah, well, you should get them.
Yeah.
It's easy. You can go to Aquarian Era and you can make your own little crystal chakra healing set where you have one for each chakra, and then just go home, lay down, and place them on there, and just let them do their work.
I definitely will.
Yeah.
So the next question is, what do you believe is the biggest physical/emotional energy block or attachment that others experience, and how do you help people recover from it?
Yeah, so this is something that I've been doing more with clients lately, and those are energetic cords with other people. I'm finding that a lot of times my clients have cords with others that aren't serving them. So it's like an energy cord with someone else that you can't see, but it's there. And I've seen clients that have up to like almost 30 cords with other people. So that's like 30 other people that they're energetically attached to that they don't need to be. It's not helping them. It's almost like a drain a little bit. Usually it's not that high of a number, but I've seen people with amounts anywhere from 1, up into the high 20s. So you can imagine if you have these energetic cords with other people, it's kind of draining your energy, and you might be involved in kind of unhealthy relationships with different people, and so I'm really finding that people need a lot of this. What we do is cord cutting. So I work with. I'll always ask them, are you okay if we cut any cords that are not serving your highest and best good? And if they agree, then I will work with Archangel Michael, who's part of the angelic realm, and ask him to cut the cords that aren't serving them. And so it seems like it really helps people. It kind of helps bring all their energy back to them. There are good cords with people that we don't want to cut, like, with the parent and child, or with your spouse, or in a, primary relationship. So there are some that are good, and you want to keep those intact. But I'm finding a lot of people have these cords with others that are not good, and it's kind of like an energy drain. So we've been getting those cut a lot and seeing some positive results for sure.
And you can have cords with people that you haven't really talked to for a while?
Yeah, you can have them really with anyone. It could be past relationship, family members, friends, coworkers. It could be something that has been with you for a long time or just a short time.
Wow, Wow.
Yeah,
So I remember she said that she had 14 that you cut.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, after those are cut, and I've experienced this with myself, where I've had them, and someone is kind of like on my mind, and I'm just feeling this uncomfortableness, or I'm obsessing about thinking about them or whatever, and then I'm like, oh, maybe I bet we have a cord, and then I'll check, and we'll get the cord cut and cleared, and then I just instantly kind of come back to myself and feel better. So
that's really cool how that works. I never heard of something like that.
yeah, a lot of people haven't heard of it. So it's I love how all this information just comes to me, as my practice goes along, because I wasn't even really working with the chords for a while, but then I don't even remember how, but somehow it just, it's like that knowledge that you just remember, and you're like, oh yeah, I need to start checking on that or looking into that. And so now I'm doing it pretty much before every session.
Wow.
It's helping a lot, yeah.
That's awesome. Like man. All right. So we can move on to question 8. What would be your advice to those looking to dive deep into the realm of spirituality?
So my advice would be really to just go on YouTube, because there's such a world of, spiritual videos out there, and people that are talking about it and teaching you stuff for free. Like, there's so much out there, and you can just search, any term that you think of, and just see what comes up, and then, it'll kind of lead you to more and more different videos like that. And I think YouTube is a really great resource for that. There's just so much out there. It's free, and it's not really like censored, or so you can really learn a lot. Like, I feel like for my first year of doing my practice, I was also like studying and learning a lot just online and on YouTube, and kind of like doing YouTube grad school, just because in the spiritual realm, there aren't really universities and colleges where you can go to learn about all this like high level spiritual information. You just kind of have to search it out and find articles and videos and other like-minded people, and then from there, of course you're not going to resonate or believe with everything that you watch or read or see.
Yeah.
There has to be a process where you check in with yourself, and you're like, okay, this message, this article, this video, I do resonate with, like, it feels right to me. And then other people, you're like, no, this isn't really sitting right with me. And that's just kind of listening to your own intuition about these things, and trusting, what you're getting, because we're all different. So one teacher online might be right for you, and a different one might be right for me. So we just kind of have to find out what resonates with us.
And also just seeing other YouTubers talk about different subjects may like catch your eye, and then may just jog your curiosity to make you want to look deeper into some of these things as well.
Yeah, because you might like hear a term that you didn't hear before, but it sparks something, and then you do a search for that term, and then you find like an article or video, and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, this is like what I needed to learn. Or I've had that happen a lot, where it'll take me down a whole nother path. And so
that's kind of like what happened with me and my friend, because we basically were asleep together, and then we awakened, and it all started I had like a long story that goes behind this. It would probably take me, like, if I explain the full thing, but I mean, long story short, I was going through like this addiction phase, and then we were still friends, and then he came across this YouTube video and talked about shrooms, and that's where we kind of started getting interested in that. And then about 3 or 4 months after that, we had our first experience together, and then that initially kind of woke me up to like how we don't experience nature to our fullest extent, how there's so many people out there that are just so focused on this stress-filled life that they can't get out of, and they're eating bad, like constantly bad food, on a consistent basis and just constantly like filling themselves with stress. And then I kind of forgot about it, kept going on. We tripped a couple more times, but it wasn't until like we wanted to put a YouTube channel together about psychedelics because of what these other YouTubers were doing. And then it wasn't until I tripped alone for my first time, like I told you a little bit before, that's when that kind of coincided with my spiritual awakening. And then I was just like, whoa, like this is so crazy, what's going on? And I really started digging deep into all this COVID mess and what's going on in the world. And, you know, like I told you before, like I was so angry at everything, but I mean, it kind of led me towards, I'm back now, like I'm trying to connect with myself more now, and I'm not really looking into that stuff anymore. I kind of got what I needed out of it, but I'm kind of, at first we created a YouTube channel for psychedelics, but now we're more just talking about general spiritual topics because it seems that's what resonates with us better.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because I feel like psychedelics will definitely open you up to those higher dimensions while you're on the drug, and like that's awesome, just, you know, to open you up to that. But then when it wears off, you're kind of like back down in the 3D reality, you know. And but like as I've gone along in my life, and you know, now feeling so spiritually awake and doing my work that I love to do, it's like I don't know, I want to have that spiritual high just like in my everyday life, you know, and you know, accessing it through meditation and just like having talks like this, or doing like my Reiki energy healing, or doing like spiritual events. You know, it's nice to be able to kind of access that level without, you know, having to take the drugs and stuff.
Yeah, I definitely think that's the way to go. But yeah, because it just seemed like the times before that I would trip with my friend, and then it would kind of like, we would return to reality and be like, wow, why were we so entailed in this endless rabbit hole in society? And then it kind of just wore off, and we didn't really integrate it into our lives. And then we end up going back to like 3 or 4 months later, and then it's just the same cycle. But this time around it's different because I've actually been meditating, I've been trying to work on myself, and sometimes I'll beat myself up about things like, oh, I feel like I haven't progressed as much as I should, but it's been 6 months since my last experience, and if I looked at where I was then to where I am now, I feel like I've definitely handled things a lot better. I've definitely learned a lot more. I've expanded my vocabulary. I'm trying to expand my connections like I am right now, and I feel like I've been becoming a better person.
Yeah, and there's no need to ever, like I tell people, don't ever beat yourself up about anything. You know, like we have to have total self-love, self-acceptance, and be grateful for, you know, like, yeah, you have to look at how far you have come in those 6 months, and, you know, just have gratitude and appreciate like our journey, and, you know.
It's something, I need to start writing down like gratitude journals. I tried doing it for a couple of nights, like, oh, this is cool, but then I stopped doing it. It's hard to try to keep up with all these healthy habits, especially when there's responsibilities to focus on, because when you become too focused on that, then you kind of lose sight of what actually helps you with like mental health and things like that.
Yeah, I started during the last Mercury retrograde, which was in July. I started like a kind of journal, just a notebook, and every morning I would write like what I'm grateful for, but it might also be kind of in the future for that day, like kind of projecting out, like, you know, I'm grateful that I'm gonna have such an amazing day doing this or that or whatever. And so sort of like manifestation, putting it out there. So I was just going to do it for Mercury retrograde, which was about 3 weeks, but then I liked doing it so much that I kept going like into August. And so August was like August activations of love, joy, bliss, and then I would do my morning writings. And now it's September, and so for September I call it like self-love, self-care, September celebration or something. So it's a good practice. There's been a few mornings where I'll skip or I'll forget or something, but mostly I just, write maybe a page or two of what I'm grateful for, what I want to, hopefully manifest in that day. And it's been a nice practice that I'm enjoying. So I think it's helping life too.
Yeah, words are spells. That's what I believe. But it's one thing to write it down, but I feel like in order to really manifest it, you kind of have to truly believe it. For me, it's something that I've been struggling with, just trying to truly believe something's going to happen. I feel like I'm expecting results too fast.
Yeah. Well, that's the nice thing about gratitude too, is like you can just be grateful for, you can look for the positive things to be grateful for. And then ultimately, my belief is that as much as I might want a certain thing or event or person or whatever to manifest, ultimately it's up to God, source, spirit, like whatever is meant to be, for my highest good.
Yeah.
So I can put all my intentions out there and then just know that, I'm going to get whatever is best for me. So I can kind of let go and let God, like just give it up to source and trust and state my intention that, I want the best things to come to me for my highest good and stuff.
That's why, you may not be able to manifest everything because some things may not work just right at that moment in time.
Like if you're focused on a material thing, like, oh, I want to manifest $1 million by this time and whatever. I've done that kind of thing and it doesn't work because I'm not a millionaire yet. Maybe I will be at some point. I don't know, but that's where I have to not really focus on the physical things like that, but just instead I could focus on, I want to manifest the feeling of abundance, or the feeling of having all my needs met, having extra income, feeling like I can buy and spend what I need, as opposed to a number like $1 million. So and that's kind of law of attraction too, like manifesting the feeling of how it feels as opposed to a physical, tangible thing.
And then when you manifest the feeling, I feel like naturally the physical, let's say income, will come to you naturally.
Yeah.
Since you're working your passion, I imagine that you probably, it might not be over the top, crazy amount of wealth, but you're making a decent income to hopefully help support yourself and your goals and be able to work with other people.
Yeah, and it's been amazing just ever since I, quit that job and just went into my practice. I have had enough money, I have been provided for, I am receiving money and income for doing what I love to do anyway, and that feels amazing. And so, life is good. I like to encourage people to follow their dreams and what they're really passionate about. And, it does take letting go of fear and control, those lower vibrational emotions.
Yeah.
And just getting into the trust, takes a lot of trust.
It really does.
Yeah.
But this conversation really, I feel like it's opened me up a little bit because I'm trying to keep an open mind, and being able to learn about your experiences motivates me, and I need to take that trust fall and just fall backwards and let the universe catch me.
Yeah, and you guys are so amazing. You're just in your early 20s, and like I said, that's where I was when I first birthed my dream of having a practice, and it took me, another 20 or so years to fulfill it. But I feel like your generation, you guys are just on such a more fast track, you're just gonna go for it and be in this realm. You won't have to do the 10-15 year detour into that mundane 3D life like I did. You guys, I think, will just go for it and reach your dreams a lot faster and stuff. So.
I think we will. I think we have the support. And
it's such a different world now.
I think that's all I really had to ask at least on the recorder, and then we
Okay.
can just talk a little bit after that. And thank you. That was a great
you.
conversation.
Yeah,
And
thank you.